Our countdown to first pitch concludes. Today's stop is Shawnee, and we get to visit with Chris Cox, who is the head baseball coach for the Oklahoma Baptist Bison. Coach, your first official season wasn't a full season, but you all did, pretty well, I would say, 16-6, 9-3 in GAC play as well. And it's enough with the players that you guys have coming back to be at the top of the preseason coaches poll. So you guys are picked to be the favorite in the GAC this year, and I would say rightfully so, not only for the season you had last year, but you are still the defending GAC tournament champions. You go back to 2019, but still, that is there. So, Coach, congratulations for being at the top of the preseason ranking, or does that just mean that the target's that much bigger?
Well, preseason stuff's good. It builds excitement to the year, gives everybody something to look at. But last I checked, when it comes down to it, it doesn't account for any wins on once we get this thing going. So, but you look at this league top to bottom, and I think there's a lot of teams in this conference that are going to have something to say about that when it's all said and done. So, while it's nice, there's no doubt, but we know there's a lot we've got to do to work for to get to that point.
I understand, and I believe that the Great American Conference, of course, now into its 10th season, has always been a very good baseball conference, and I think it's just gotten better over the years, obviously with the inclusion of the Bison as you all have moved into the conference and really made a mark of your own. We were speaking just a little bit earlier about the fact that you have been able to get a few things in, and it's a nice time of year for you. Also talk about an overview of the program.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like we were talking, January is sometimes the flip of the coin with how much time you're going to get outside. And luckily, this January has been great to us and the fall as well. If you'd have told me when we got this thing going back in September that we'd have got to do as much as we have as a group and stayed pretty much healthy, I'd have taken it. There's no doubt. And as you mentioned with all the returners that we have and with the new pieces, that's been great. It's been great to be around these guys. It's a pleasure to go to work with these guys every day. They're not only great on the field, but they're great people off the field as well.
Coach, let's talk about some of those returners. Let's begin with some of your position players as well. You return, among others, Kaimana Bartolome and also Colin Prince. And the reason I mention those two is that last season they were hitting 400 or above. Now, Coach, I realize it was a shortened season, but I think if you've got more than 10 at-bats and you're hitting 400 or above, you're doing pretty well. Talk about those players and more.
No doubt. With Kaimana, that start to the season, I don't know that I've ever been a part of something like that as a player or as a coach. The kind of start he was off to, and it was kind of polar opposite of the start of his junior year. When he first came here, I think he started something like 2 for 41 his junior year. And but the deal with Kaimana was we knew he was going to come out of it. He's not one of those guys that gets down on himself hard. But then, like I said, last year it was just unreal. I think he had something like 8 home runs and I want to say 13 or 14 doubles through that 22 game stretch and almost 40 RBIs. So, I hated it for everybody, obviously, when it came to a halt last year, but to get off to the start he had and, some of the things he could have accomplished personally, I really hated it for him. So, but I'm excited to have him back for another go and get after it one more time.
Who are some of the other players that we're going to see alongside him out in the field for you?
Yeah, like I said, we had most all of our guys that had an opportunity to come back. They did come back. So, we'll return Ramon Enriquez behind the plate, who was an All-American his junior year. Cliff Pratt at shortstop, who's another one that was off to a really good start. You mentioned Colin Prince. Eric Carlson is back in the outfield. We added a couple new pieces with Cade Self, who's a local kid from Shawnee, and Walker Keller, who's another Orange Coast product. And then a couple of returners in Cade Kissel and Case Warner out there as well.
Coach, and we're speaking with Coach Chris Cox from Oklahoma Baptist, whose team is the preseason favorite in the GAC this year, according to the coaches poll. You talk about your staff, and the last time I had an opportunity to watch Oklahoma Baptist play was in 2019 in that GAC tournament, and the two pitchers that I got to see on the mound for you last both came away with wins. Caleb Bly, who last season was 4-0 and picked up a win against the top seed Monticello in the tournament. And then, of course, the championship game, you had Jake Lipetsky, who got the win there for you all to close things out, wound up being the tournament MVP as well. I know that those young men are coming back to your staff, among others.
No doubt. And that's a, for us, that's huge. Jake obviously has been and Caleb have both been main staples for us over the years. And both, again, last year were off to great starts. And, I felt they've had even better falls and early springs leading up to it. I feel that they're in a lot better place than they are sometimes at this point in the year. So really looking forward to them and moving forward and kind of anchoring that staff. We got some new faces as well as returners there, and hopefully that's somewhere where we're pretty deep this year is on the mound.
Well, Coach, the season gets underway not very long from now, just a little bit more than a week away. You all are taking on West Texas A&M, Southwestern Oklahoma, among the top teams in the GAC according to the preseason. That'll be a non-conference matchup there. And then you get to head up to Edmond, face some teams from the MIAA, some in-region competition before the GAC schedule gets underway.
Definitely a challenging start to the year, heading out to Canyon, Texas to play two really quality and teams that go to regionals and national level every year with West Texas A&M. And we all know the job that Zach does there at Southwestern. And then the next week, getting a little MIAA crossover with some good people like Pittsburgh State, Emporia State, and UCO. So definitely have our work cut out for us. But I think it's a good measuring stick to see where we are and where we need to be heading into the conference slate, which we know is going to be a grind that presents a new challenge each and every week for us.
Well, it should be fun, and I really look forward to getting to see you all play this year. And, of course, the Oklahoma Baptist Bison are the preseason favorites in 2021. Our countdown to first pitch has concluded today with our stop in Shawnee. Coach Chris Cox, success to you all this season. Thank you so much for taking time with us today as we've counted down to first pitch.
Appreciate it, Joey, and appreciate all you do.
Thank you.